So let's walk it through at a very, very high level to begin with, because it's a structure, isn't it? It starts at the top
Yeah.
with a big question, and then you progressively go deeper, and it exposes ideas and thoughts, and then practical steps that you can take in order to progress your career. So you start off with the question, which is, what outcomes do you want from your career? Why is it important to start with that big question?
I think it's really important to think about what you want in the end of it, because this is what you're going to end up with. Yeah, hopefully after a very long, very happy career, you're going to reach the end of it and look back and be really proud of what you've done, what you've achieved. So to get to that point, it's really important that you have an idea of what you think is going to be something you're going to be proud of, something that is going to give you that joy that you can look back on, through your golden years or potentially through your second career, to know that you've kind of really owned that first one. It's also something which allows you to move between careers. So you might have, start in tech for 10, 15 years, and people then transition to other things and do something completely different. And you can still apply this thinking across and still apply these outcomes that you want across literally every industry.
And you then move, once you've asked or answered that question for yourself, you then go into a set of outcomes. They are money, recognition, autonomy,
Mm.
creating world-changing software, saving the world, and helping others succeed. So what are they? What do you mean by outcomes?
So the outcome is it's the what if of what you do. Like, so what? You can do different things in many different ways in many different roles, but what changes in the world because you've done that? Is it your own personal wealth? Is it the fact that a difference has been made to the environment of our planet and how we can change the impact of humanity on that planet, for example? Or is it the impact on people, how their lives can be made better? These are all things which, as I said, span across multiple different industries, but they're high level enough that you can set a goal for yourself, really understand what you want from yourself, and then drive across it in many different experiences and many different examples.
I understand. So once you've picked that outcome, the thing that you want to see come real, that then helps you pick your next stage, and you then talk about your
Mm.
eventual career strategy.
Yeah, I mean, these are interchangeable, so you can have more than one. And also it allows you to see what's compatible and what's not with it. So as a tool, one of the strengths of this is, let's say you wanted to create world-changing software, yet you work for a very kind of corporate company, someone that's kind of very safe, very close product market fit that they've got in a very like big corporate world. You might not be able to do that. There might not be that level of innovation there, which is absolutely fine for somebody else who, potentially wants that stability or kind of wants that scale of impact that that big corporate can provide. It shows, of those jobs you can go for, of those things you can apply for, or those career routes you can go down, how compatible that is with those outcomes that ultimately make you you, and it's something you can be proud of.
So very simplistically, then, if I say I want to create world, or if I want to change the world in some way, if I want to do some kind of like community good, working for a corporate company that is literally just building banking software is never really going to take me towards my end goal. And therefore that helps inform what my next career step should
Yeah.
be.
I mean, of course, I'll count that by probably some. That's my some might be an exception to the rule, so that's not like a full-on rule. But yeah, in general, that might be the case, or something to at least
Right.
consider looking at when you're going down that route.
Yep. And then the next thing you do is you say, um, in order to progress down this path, you're going to need what you call a set of superpowers. What do you mean by that?
So superpowers are essentially skill sets or personality traits. A lot of them can be learnt, a lot of them can be built on and kind of gained through experience. So these superpowers are things that you really excel at, things that give you energy, things that you can really push forward. This would be things like kind of softer skills like leadership or decision making, really high quality decision making, or very technical things like using the latest technologies and applications, full stack technology, web applications, mobile applications, AI, whatever it is. There's technical skills, non-technical skills, and everything else that goes along with how you interact with other people, how you look at a particular problem, and where your energy and where your strength are best placed to be able to attack that given outcome.
Right. And those superpowers will vary depending on the path that you're going down.
In this framework, yes, I think they're very interchangeable, which is why they're repeated quite a lot against different things. But it's providing that focus. It's the aim of this section is to provide the must-haves. If there's things like, understanding user problems and the user space, and you find that a lot of effort, and it's really, really hard, probably going to be harder for you to achieve down that route, or you're not going to enjoy it very much. So it's aligning what gives you that energy with what will contribute to achieving those goals.
Right. So it might even help to skip forward from the very beginning question right the way down to the superpowers and say what resonates with me most, because that might
Yeah.
then help me pick the path I'm most likely to be successful at.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And yeah, I think it's almost like with the job description, you look at kind of what those duties are, what those skills are that you need. You read down them when you're going for a job and you think, oh, I could do that, I could do that, I can't do that. It's like that, but a much higher level for a given career track, not necessarily a job role, which is why I've
Yeah.
designed it this way. Hopefully that's useful.
Right. Yep. And then the very final step is that you say, here are some common stepping stones, you call them, which I guess are the beginning part almost. Once I've picked it, here's my stepping stones to get into that path.
Yeah, I mean, these are very much based in my experience, my personal experience, but these are essentially the ways that I've seen people get into that space, or places that I've understood is the way to get into that space. So, when we spoke about the beginning, we talked about getting your foot in that door, getting that first bit of experience so you can show someone else the potential. Here are some examples of ways that you can build that, gain that experience, and kind of show others ways that you have built that experience and you are capable of going down that route.
Right. And it occurs to me that although you've got this framework and you have filled in the boxes, you've put in the words and the values, it's
Mhm.
actually not a bad approach for anybody just to go, okay, well, let me ask a question, let me think about some possibilities and put in their own words and create their own
Yeah.
template based on what they know.
Yeah, completely agree. This is the whole idea. It's more of a template that I've kind of filled in with my personal experience compared to others. So, when advice I'd give is take all this with a pinch of salt, and then if you've got a mentor in your particular space or somebody that's seen in your particular space, this could be a really good conversation to kind of sit down, have a catch up or a coffee with, to kind of go, what does this framework look like in our space? What's your experience? And fill in those extra gaps for yourself, and
Yep.
potentially highlight what really excites you about the next 10 years of your career and what could be quite exciting to go into yourself.